Hello and welcome to the Self-Unemployed Podcast. In this clip from the first episode, Drew and I are talking about goal setting and how that's really important for helping you to build wealth and become self-unemployed.
Goal setting is one of the key components. We want to have a plan, right? We want to work forward. And I'd say that's arguably definitely probably embedded in every step. But even with goals in mind, and even with I know where I'm heading or I know where I want to be, you still have to take the step. You still have to do the thing. You planning isn't doing the thing. Educating yourself isn't doing the thing. You still have to take that step. So I 100% agree with you in that sense.
Yeah. An example of this to apply to property investing, which is what I'm doing and you're doing, and a lot of the guests we're going to have on do, would be, so I sort of, when I decided I wanted to get more into property, I sort of did a business plan. And now it wasn't really a business plan. It was a very personal document for myself. It was a business plan, but only for me. And I sort of thought, okay, in 10 years time, where do I want to be? And what I'd love to do is buy a sort of big old house, kind of like a stately home, and turn it into a hotel or service accommodation units, maybe have fitness facilities, create a place where people can come and have fitness retreats and create really, really great memories. Now, that is a sort of long-term goal. I don't think about that very often, but I did sort of reverse engineer that and see how can I get there. And I realized that I was not going to get there the way that I was going, not within that time frame. So I realized I had to change. And this was like the end of last year. So now I've been educating myself a lot more and taking steps to start to accelerate that. But so yeah, that's my sort of goal. It's not what I look at all the time. I've got projects, medium-term projects. So those would be the equivalent of, like, if you're climbing a mountain, looking up and seeing, okay, I want to get to that point that I can see. I'll be there in maybe 10 minutes, a sort of short-term, medium-term goal. But really the important thing is getting up and saying, okay, what have I got to do today? Where am I going to put my foot today? Those are the most important things that you spend most of your time thinking about. So, yeah, that could be what builders do I need to come in today, or what contractors do I need to get in today to this project, or do I need to call my mortgage broker today? It's the day-to-day things that we spend the most time on that need to be the majority of our focus.
It could also be an earlier step, by the way, because although it is what contractors do I need today, it could also be I know I need to make 10 phone calls today in order for what I want to happen to come true. I need to make 20 phone calls today. So it can be as early as that. And I'd say arguably that's still in phase 3. It's in the same zone as what's the next property that I'm going to buy. Because like you said, taking those actionable steps towards the goal that you've already set for yourself is key. And if you don't have that goal set, you're going to be taking steps in a bunch of directions. Now, don't get me wrong. Taking steps in any direction is still good because you're taking action, but unless you need to set those goals.
I just want to quickly say thank you so much for watching or listening. If you are watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and a subscribe and all that, and subscribe to the podcast, leave us a review. All those things are super useful. But if you like what you're hearing and you'd like to become self-unemployed yourself, then I'd really like to build a community. And the way that I'm doing that is I've got a free mailing list that you can join. And when we record these episodes, they're going to be put out as live streams. So you'll get to see a little bit behind the scenes. You'll get to see the episodes before they go out on the main channel and on the podcast. And you'll get to interact with us as we're recording. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, head on over to the website, links in the description, and I look forward to chatting with you as we record future episodes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I mean. So when climbing a mountain, that would be the equivalent of looking up every now and then, seeing somewhere in the distance, but within sight, and thinking, okay, I need to get there I'll be there in, but that's a sort of short to medium term goal, rather than thinking about you might have in your mind a vision of where you want to be in 10 years, but you don't think about that on a day-to-day basis. But it's important to have it in your mind. Now, I don't really believe in the power of, I want to talk about manifesting a little bit here. I don't know what you do. Do you have any thoughts on manifesting?
I'm not a big fan of stuff like that. That being said, if manifesting means picturing where you want to be, then yes, but I'm not going to manifest it into reality. I'm going to take those actionable steps.
Yeah. So I was going to say, I don't believe in the power of manifesting, but actually I do. I believe in the power of it, but it's the source of the power of it that I would disagree with people like Rhonda Byrne who made the film The Secret, and the books like Think and Grow Rich. They talk about your brain sending out energy waves into the universe, and the universe sending energy waves back on the same frequency. So if you think bad thoughts, bad things will happen, and if you think good thoughts, good things will happen. I think that's bull. What I believe is that there is a psychological thing going on. But I do believe that there is a powerful psychological thing going on, but it's entirely in our own brains. It's important to have those goals. It's important to, and I've kind of got a weird example of this. You remember I said my goal is to is to buy a big house and turn it into a hotel and fitness retreat and event where people, a location where people can come and create really great memories. That's my long-term goal, almost a dream, rather than a goal. But this week, that was a kind of like 10-year goal, and I'm less than a year from doing that business plan, and I just found the perfect property that's for sale, but through the education that I've had, because of the education that I've been getting and the community that I've been in, that's given me the confidence to actually make some calls and see what the situation is. And that has led to me realizing that I'm possibly in a situation where I could make this happen. I could achieve this 10-year goal in a year. Now it's still a long shot. It's probably not going to happen. But just the fact that I'm put myself in a position where I'm making a pitch, I'm making a proposal which is being taken seriously, is not something I thought I would be in a position to do so soon. So that, and I think that is a result of that manifesting. So I think there is power in manifesting, but really it's a power it's just purely psychological. It's about organizing your brain, organizing your thoughts, knowing where you're going, having those goals is super important. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and just to talk on that, by the way, ever so slightly to go back on to manifesting, I do think it is a case. There is an argument, and definitely, psychologists talk about this, is if you just sit there and think, woe is me, and my life sucks, and I'm never going to be anything, that's probably going to be the case. You do have to take actionable steps to change your life and move forward.
The process of putting together a proposal, the process of pitching that to the sellers, that whole process is a huge opportunity to learn. So that's what I'm focused on doing. It's all about learning and educating, so that maybe then further down the line I'll find another opportunity and I'll be better prepared to do that. So yeah, there's even if a deal doesn't go through, there's no such thing as, what was it someone said? Yeah, there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. Every failure you learn from. So you got to try, you got to push, you got to try things where you will fail, where you're likely to fail, because it's not a waste of time. It's win-win.
Speaking on that, I think that's one of the best things I've learned actually from property is, the amount of work. I post a lot on my Instagram and it looks like that I'm winning, and I need to post more failures, I think, because the amount of work I put in and then it falls out of the bed is phenomenal. But the confidence that gives me, knowing that I even got close to something like that, is brilliant. And then each time I get a little bit closer, pushes me to go a little bit harder the next time. And I think, likewise with you, it's opened doors that I didn't think were possible. And I think that's part of, especially self-unemployment, especially financial freedom, is being willing to take on the risk that it may not work, but keep going anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for watching. Now, this was just a clip from the full episode of the Self-Unemployed Podcast. If you're interested in growing your wealth, becoming financially free, and becoming self-unemployed, then you can sign up for notifications about the podcast at our website. Links in the description. We've got loads of really good guests investing in all sorts of ways, especially in property. So join us, check out the show, and I'll see you soon.